Around the world, many ambitious megaprojects have aimed to transform economic landscapes and become symbols of progress. However, not all of them have ended in success. Some of the largest infrastructure initiatives not only failed to achieve their goals, but also turned into financial nightmares for their investors, causing massive losses. These projects have become symbols of failure and a reminder of the importance of careful planning and management in large-scale investments. California High-Speed Rail, CHSR. The ambitious high-speed rail project was designed to connect Los Angeles and San Francisco with trains reaching speeds of up to 350 kilometers per hour, 217 miles per hour. The idea of creating the first high-speed rail network in the U.S. emerged in the 1990s, and in 2008, California voters approved funding for its construction. However, after more than 15 years, the project has become one of the biggest infrastructure failures of modern times. Reasons for failure. The budget skyrocketed from $33 billion to $128 billion, making it one of the most expensive infrastructure projects in U.S. history. The state relied on federal funding, but Congress and the Trump administration reduced financial support. Lengthy court battles with landowners unwilling to sell their properties for construction. Hundreds of environmental reviews delayed route approvals. The vision of a high-speed connection between Los Angeles and San Francisco was complicated by political compromises. The first phase was planned in rural California, Bakersfield, Merced, which lacked sufficient demand. The U.S. had no prior experience in building high-speed rail systems. Frequent changes in contractors and supply chain issues further delayed progress. California high-speed rail serves as a prime example of how grand infrastructure initiatives can fail due to poor planning, political compromises, and financial struggles. Remaining unfinished, the project has already become a symbol of bureaucratic inefficiency and taxpayer waste. Ordos, China's most famous ghost city, located in Inner Mongolia, Ordos has become one of the world's most infamous ghost cities. Built in the 2000s as part of China's large-scale urbanization policy, the city featured modern architecture, wide boulevards, and luxurious districts. However, despite its grand design, it remained nearly uninhabited. Instead of an economic breakthrough, Ordos became a symbol of excessive construction ambitions and failed state planning. Reasons for failure. Apartments and commercial properties were sold as investments rather than for actual residency. Prices were too high for the local population, which had insufficient income to afford them. Authorities expected investors and businesses to relocate to the new city, but this never happened. Ordos had no real strategic economic role beyond the resource sector. Thousands of apartments, shopping malls, and office buildings were built but never occupied. Government officials artificially stimulated a construction boom without considering real needs. Local residents preferred staying in the old district of Ordos rather than moving to the new city. A lack of cultural and social life made the city unappealing to potential inhabitants. Ordos is a striking example of how ambitious $50 billion state projects can fail due to a lack of real demand. Despite its potential, the city never became an economic hub and remains one of the biggest urban planning failures of modern times. Mirabel, Canada's failed mega airport. Mirabel was one of the largest airports ever built in Canada, envisioned as the country's most important aviation hub. However, despite massive investments and ambitious plans, the airport suffered huge financial losses and was ultimately shut down. The $20 billion construction project became one of the biggest infrastructure failures in Canadian history. Reasons for failure. Mirabel was located far from downtown Montreal, about 39 kilometers, creating accessibility issues. A lack of convenient transportation links and the long travel time made it unattractive for passengers. Compared to other airports, Mirabel failed to efficiently manage passenger and cargo flows. Its service systems and infrastructure were unprepared for growing aviation demands. Dorval Airport, much closer to the city, had none of Mirabel's logistical issues and was more convenient for travelers. As a result, most airlines and passengers continued using Dorval, undermining Mirabel's viability. Poor location and flawed logistical planning rendered Mirabel unnecessary despite the billions invested. This case serves as a reminder of the critical role of strategic planning in large infrastructure projects. Hotel Escarret, the world's biggest hotel that never took off. Hotel Escarret, planned to be the largest hotel in the world, was built in the popular tourist region of Cancun, Mexico. This ambitious project, costing over $10 billion, failed to achieve its expected success despite massive investments. The reasons for its downfall included excessive costs, insufficient demand, and financial difficulties. Reasons for failure. The initial planning and budget for Hotel Escarret were highly ambitious. Construction costs significantly exceeded expectations, leading to major financial problems. A large portion of the expenses came from additional infrastructure, such as costly theme parks, special attractions, and numerous exclusive services that proved too expensive to implement. While Mexico is a popular tourist destination, it could not generate a steady flow of visitors large enough to sustain such a massive hotel. The high-end pricing and exclusive services failed to attract the expected demand, as competition among luxury resorts in the region was extremely strong. A lack of sufficient funding to complete construction became a major setback. The project faced significant delays and many plans were altered or scaled down. Sudden shifts in the economic climate and currency fluctuations added further financial strain to the development. Poor planning, excessive costs, and insufficient demand turned this project into one of the biggest disappointments in the global hospitality industry. However, this case serves as a reminder to investors and developers about the importance of thoroughly analyzing market demand and economic conditions before launching large-scale projects. Gorgon LNG Project, Australia's costly energy venture. The Gorgon LNG project in Australia is one of the largest infrastructure projects in the country's history, with a budget exceeding $54 billion. However, despite its scale, the project faced numerous challenges that led to significant financial losses. Delays, technical issues, and environmental restrictions resulted in a cost overrun of $17 billion. While the project is now operational, its economic viability remains questionable. The original goal was to use cutting-edge technology to extract and process natural gas, positioning Australia as a leading player in the liquefied natural gas (LNG) market. The project was expected to have a major impact on both the local economy and the global energy sector. Reasons for failure. One of the main issues was the numerous delays during the construction phase. The initial stages were postponed due to complex engineering challenges, the massive scale of construction, and the need to adapt to harsh climate conditions. These delays prevented the project from meeting its scheduled launch dates, negatively affecting its financial viability. The Gorgon LNG project encountered multiple technical difficulties during implementation, particularly with equipment and technology. Issues with gas liquefaction systems and necessary design modifications led to increased costs and extended timelines. Additional expenses were incurred due to the need for equipment upgrades and error corrections. The project faced strong criticism from environmental organizations over its potential impact on the surrounding ecosystem, including greenhouse gas emissions and threats to marine biodiversity. Additional environmental protection requirements emerged during the project's execution, forcing changes to construction plans and further inflating costs. Given the numerous challenges, delays, technical difficulties, and environmental restrictions, it is clear that this project did not meet expectations and became a costly lesson for Australia. However, it also serves as a valuable case study for other countries and companies planning similar large-scale energy projects in an increasingly complex global market. Hinkley Point C, the UK's costly nuclear ambition. Hinkley Point C is an ambitious nuclear project in the UK involving the construction of 2 new nuclear reactors at the Hinkley Point station on the western coast of England. While the project was intended to be a key pillar of the country's energy security strategy and carbon reduction efforts, it has faced a series of major challenges. Cost overruns exceeding $10 billion have resulted from technical issues, delays, and rising construction expenses. The construction of 2 European pressurized reactors at Hinkley Point C was a crucial step in this plan. Initially estimated at £22 to £23 billion, the project's cost has increased significantly due to numerous difficulties. Reasons for cost overruns. One of the main issues has been the technical difficulties faced by contractors. The reactor design relied on cutting-edge technology, which required extensive testing and adaptation. EPR reactor installations have proven to be highly complex, making manufacturing and integration challenging. This led to delays at various stages of construction and required modifications to the original plans. Massive delays have been a major factor in driving up costs. The initial completion date was set for 2025, but due to technical issues and evolving safety requirements, the timeline has been extended. Project delays and redesigns have significantly increased costs as not only the core structures, but also on-site infrastructure needed revisions. Year after year, construction expenses have surged. The project's initial budget was overly optimistic, and constant increases in material costs, labor expenses, and technology upgrades led to further financial strain. Inflation and rising energy prices required for construction also contributed to the growing budget. Hinkley Point C remains crucial for the UK's future energy security. However, its soaring costs and construction difficulties raise concerns about the feasibility of such large-scale infrastructure projects. The project serves as a clear example of how ambitious energy initiatives can be undermined by unforeseen challenges and financial overruns. Countries planning similar projects must carefully assess potential risks and economic impacts to avoid similar setbacks in the future. Failed megaprojects that have suffered massive financial losses serve as important lessons for future initiatives. They highlight the necessity of thorough planning, risk assessment, and a realistic approach to forecasts and expectations. Without proper management and anticipation of potential challenges, large investments can lead not only to financial disasters, but also to a loss of public and investor trust. While some of these projects continue to exist, excessive costs and delays have become undeniable proof that even the most ambitious plans do not always lead to the desired outcome. These failures should serve as a warning for future large-scale initiatives, which must be based on realistic planning and a well-thought-out strategic approach.